Hey guys, what's up? In today's video, I want to talk a little bit about the Star Wars movie, Star Wars The Force Awakens. I've seen it 2 days ago, and I had a little bit of time to digest it, to think about it, and I just want to gather my thoughts in a video. Now, beware, okay? I will spoil this movie. If you didn't see the movie yet, then please quit this video right now, because I will spoil the whole movie. I'm going to give away a lot of detail of it, because I really want to talk about it. So again, guys, if you have not seen the movie and you don't want to be spoiled or find out anything that happens in the movie, then quit this video right now, okay? I don't want to see a single complaint down in the comment section where someone's like, "Oh, you told me what happens in the movie." This, I don't want to see any of this. Yeah. So please, guys, go now if you haven't seen the movie, and if you have seen it, then this video is perfect for you, because I'm going to go through all the points that I think worked well, other points that didn't work so well, where we might go in episode 8 and all that. So I'm just going to break down my thoughts. First of all, okay, I'm going to start spoiling now, okay? Don't expect that I will not give away details of the movie. I will tell you everything. First of all, I really enjoyed how clear the narrative of the movie was. Like, that was just brilliant. Like, I miss that so much in all these modern, Marvel movies and all that. While they're good and I kind of enjoy them, but they're never really clearly structured. It's always a bit of a mess, and this movie had just such a beautiful, clear story with great characters, not too many characters as well. The characters were really lovable and felt right, especially like the two main characters, Finn and Rey, the girl and the guy. I mean, that just felt so right. They are really lovely characters. They did a great job in playing it. I could attach to them. I could identify myself with them. They fitted into the Star Wars universe. And, just around these few characters, they managed to build this quite iconic story that really kind of captured the spirit of what Star Wars is all about. For me, personally, it's a space opera, right? And what we've seen in Star Wars The Force Awakens is just a beautiful space opera, and it like, let me say this just from the start off, like, it's a great movie. Like, I really enjoyed every part of it. It was a lot of fun to watch. I left the cinema, I wasn't disappointed. Obviously it's a big responsibility to make a new Star Wars movie, and from the beginning I knew that it wouldn't be as good as the old movies, but you kind of have to scale down your expectations a little bit, I guess. But it just really, really delivered what I was expecting, and it did even a bit more than that. So I'm gonna go into also a few negative points that I realized in the movie, but again, overall the movie is great. Like, this is really complaining on a very high level, because all these points, can also be turned around and seen as a positive. It's just my personal impression. Like, for instance, there were loads of hints to the old movies, right? If you've seen it, there's the scene where Han Solo enters the bar, right? And then one guy's like, "Han Solo," and then everyone turns around, because apparently he has depth with all these people in the bar, and everyone know him, that he kind of tried to cheat them a little bit. And that's just a bit too much, I felt, right? Because basically with a scene like this, he's become a caricature of himself. Do you know what I mean? With all these people, and he has depth with thousands of people in this bar, probably not that many, but you get the idea. It's not the real Han Solo, it's kind of a caricature of Han Solo. And that bothered me at times a little bit, but at the same time it makes you chuckle. And I think it's a thin line between him being a caricature and him being too serious and trying too hard to be the old Han Solo. So I think pushing it into the slightly more ironic, over-the-top corner, which they did, it was probably a good call. But then just all the hints to the old movies, like for instance the discussion around the table of the new Death Star, right? When everyone stands around the table and they have this hologram up, and it's just definitely a hint to the old movies, right? It's the exact iconic scene that we've seen in the old movies, or when they approach the new Death Star in their X-Wings to destroy it, and how they kind of fly through this narrow alley, or however I want to describe it, on top of the surface of the new Death Star. All these cues are exactly cues to the old movie, and he just really does all this fan service. All like the bar scene when we enter the bar and the music is playing, and you see like 5-6 cuts of different puppets, that are clearly not CGI, like people in costumes in this bar, really giving this impression of like this really lively universe. This stuff is great, but I felt it was a little bit too much. Like, it wouldn't have needed to be that much. Why does it have to happen in a bar that is exactly like the cantina, pretty much? it wouldn't have to be like that. But anyway, what I really enjoyed about the movie was generally the journey of Rey, the girl played by Daisy Ridley. It was just great. Like, I didn't know her before as an actress, and I think she just did an absolutely amazing job in bringing this character to life. It was just so much fun to see how she kind of came from being just a scavenger and then slowly discovering that there's more, and then her relationship with Finn and stuff, and then she discovered that she has a little bit of a talent of this force, but she doesn't even know what the force is in the beginning. So all these things, that was just told really, really well, and it was so much fun to see it. Even the scene where she's with the stormtrooper and she's kind of, shackled to the table, and then she uses her force and brings the stormtrooper over, and she's like, "You will loosen my shackles." In the beginning, she's not really confident. You've probably seen it, and then she focuses and says it again, and then he does it because he has not. Like, these scenes are really, really nice, like really nice and iconic scenes. The only question that I had while watching that was, she does all this without any training. She just kind of trusts her guts in a way, and then she can be such a quite powerful Jedi. She's even fighting back Kylo Ren when he's trying to break her mind and get information, and you would know with no Jedi training she can do that. I guess the story they want to tell us is that she's going to be a really, really powerful Jedi, and she just has a very natural talent to use the Force. I think that's what they want to bring across, and that worked really well. But that was just a bit like, if you remember how everyone had to go through a really long training, like Luke had to go through that, and also Vader, like Anakin, had to go through a lot of training in order to become that Jedi that he was. So she just does that naturally. It was a bit like, not sure about that. But anyway, like I said, overall, her journey was really, really nice. How she discovered the Force in her and all that. Just brilliant. Like, a lot of fun to watch, and just made me smile on so many points. How she's insecure in the beginning and then becomes more and more confident. Great. Really, really good stuff. Now, big thing, big spoiler, obviously, Han Solo's death. Probably not a bad thing. It was kind of foreseeable that one of the big characters will die in this movie, but I think it's not the worst that he's dead, because I don't really want to see an age-old Harrison Ford in the next 2 episodes. Han Solo did his job, and that he came back in this movie, and he did a great job in redelivering this character, but I think it's enough, and we're going to get the prequel of him, and we're going to get loads of Han Solo in the future, but I think, don't push it over the top. Don't have like loads of old characters, same with Leia and Luke. I hope they don't make them main characters. Luke can probably still work, because he will then kind of take the role of the old Ben Kenobi, like an old Jedi. I can see that working. But with Han, it's a different story. So I don't think it's a bad thing that he died. Yeah, these are basically my thoughts on it, because, like I said, he did his job. But did you notice when Kylo Ren put his sword through him and then threw him down the bridge they were standing on, he kind of fell into the light on the bottom, and as he fell, his body formed the iconic Han Solo pose. Did you notice that? I was sitting in the cinema, I saw that, I was chuckling. That was fun. Han Solo's death, I didn't really see it coming, but it didn't bother me too much. Like, I wasn't be like, oh my god, we're never gonna see Han Solo again. So it was all good. Let's talk a little bit about Kylo Ren. Few things with this character. I think in the beginning, the first scene when he's introduced for the first time, he is just like introduced to be super, super powerful, right? Like, he is the new Sith Lord. He's kind of like a new Vader. But then as the character progresses in the story, he nearly becomes a weak version of himself. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, the scene with Rey where she's just fighting him back and he doesn't know what to do, and he's really helpless. And there are a few more scenes in the movie where I was like, well, he's not such a powerful Sith Lord, or however, like Sith guy, whatever you want to call him. He kind of started off as this really powerful character and then lost a little bit of its authenticity throughout the movie, I felt. Also kind of supported by the casting. I personally didn't feel that Adam Driver was a very good cast for this role. Also, since he's supposed to be Han Solo's and Leia's son, he doesn't look like Han Solo or Leia at all. Like, he has a very Southern European or even like South American look to him, I feel. So it didn't really match up. But I think we're going to see more of him, and probably at some point we're going to get like an origin story of Kylo Ren. I can really see that happening. Not right now, not in the next few years, but maybe in like 6, 7, 8 years, there will be some kind of movie that tells the story of how Han Solo and Leia, lived after episode 6 and then got him and how he turned bad and all that. Because there's a lot of room to tell a story, it feels like. In The Force Awakens, you're just presented with the situation that he's the bad guy and he's their son. The other thing that wasn't really clear to me, and maybe you can leave your thoughts on that down in the comment section, but was Rey the daughter of Han Solo and Leia? Because there's this one scene where she just comes out and she just blindly hugs Leia as if they know each other. I didn't really get that. I mean, she's very strong with the Force, so probably it makes sense, or maybe I missed it. I mean, I've just seen the movie once. Do they say that Rey is Leia's and Han Solo's daughter? I'm not entirely sure. The next thing I want to talk about is BB-8, right? The new robot, little rolling around ball-shaped robot. Now, when we saw the first trailer, I saw him and I was just like, okay, that's crappy CGI. But then they came forward and showed us the real BB-8 and they were like, no, it's actually not CGI. It's all real. And I was like, that's cool. That's really nice. Having him seen now in the movie, I'm 100% sure that most of the BB-8 scenes were CGI. Because when you see how the little robot they actually built moves, when he stops, the top part rolls forward quite a lot, obviously because a ball just can't stop rapidly. And if you see how he moves on screen in the movie, it is much more controlled. I'm sure they have a few scenes in there where it was the real robot, but I would say most of the scenes are actually CGI. But the thing here is that it doesn't really matter, right? Because it looked great. I think BB-8 is a lovely little robot. I didn't like him when I saw the first trailer, but now, having seen him, how he, really brings this robot character to life, it's much more powerful than I thought it would be. So I'm quite happy with BB-8. I think it's a quite nice addition to the robot family, which is like C3PO and R2-D2 and BB-8. It really fits nicely in there, much better than I thought it would. Generally, in terms of the CGI, to me, it felt like it had the right balance. You could really see that J.J. Abrams was very careful not to overdo it, and every now and then he has like these filters that are over the scene that just give it like a nice retro modern feel, if that makes sense. It doesn't look like the movies from the 80s or 70s, but somehow he captured the spirit of it. Like there's one iconic scene where the Millennium Falcon, I think, flies off into the distance and he just disappears into space, and you can see that it looks like the old models that they filmed for the original movies. I'm pretty sure it was CGI, but the way they did it just had this quite nearly dirty look to it, right? And there are a few other scenes in it that just really feel a bit dirty, not overly glossy or finished, which I think was really great. And generally it felt like he hit a really nice spot between the look and feel of the old movies, and not just in terms of character design and the X-Wings and all that, but just how the movie is shot, the old movies, and like a new and modern interpretation of it. You know what I mean? Like it was a really, really nice balance between these two things. Quite often in the movie, we get like little jokes, which I felt rip you out of the moment every now and then. Like, you're really in it and you're like, oh, that's a big scene. And then, Finn makes like a stupid little joke that feels slightly inappropriate. But it didn't bother me too much. It was fine, and it just gave me a bit of a chuckle. And, give J.J. Abrams some creative freedom as well. If he thinks he wants to put in these little fun moments that rip you out of the scene, that's fine. It doesn't bother me. If you would complain about that and say, oh, it's a terrible movie because he has these jokes every now and then that are not like in the old movie kind of, then I can't help you with that. But it didn't bother me too much. And then there is the final scene, right, where Rey finds Luke, and obviously the whole movie is just about finding Luke. And then in the last scene she actually finds him, and they're on this little island, and she's handing him his lightsaber, and they just leave it with that. I think it's a quite nice bridge into episode 8, which obviously is going to be, Rey learning from Luke Skywalker how the Force works. Basically, we're going to get the whole Yoda thing again, I think, where he's going to treat her really harsh, and make her do a lot of things that she doesn't want to do. Well, that came out awfully wrong. But you know what I mean? She has to do all these really challenging Jedi tricks, like he had to lift the X-Wing out of the swamp and all that stuff, which was very hard for him at that time. So I think it's going to be all about, like, him challenging her to her absolute maximum maximum capacity, and then Rey becoming this incredibly powerful Jedi, which maybe brings the balance back to the universe between the light and the dark side. We don't know. But generally, one more thing I really want to mention is that we really have to respect the pressure and expectation that J.J. Abrams had to deal with, and his team, obviously, not only him, but like, to make a new Star Wars movie is a big challenge, and we've seen it with episode 1, 2, 3 and how much hate they get, you know, and it's so easy to go completely wrong with it. And while the new Force Awakens might not be the best movie of all time, I think they just did an absolutely amazing job of reviving the spirit of what Star Wars is all about, how it feels to watch a Star Wars movie. They really brought that to life in a clever, in a modern way that feels, you know, it's like it's good to go for the next 10, 15, 20 years. And I'm now much more confident that we will actually see more films that just feel right and that they're going to hit the right tone. So I have to give a lot of credit to J.J. Abrams and his team. They did an amazing job. Like I said in this video, a few things, you know, gave me a bit of a hiccup and it wasn't all perfect, but I don't really care. It was a great movie. The movie was a lot of fun. It was true to the original spirit, and I would definitely recommend it to other people who are Star Wars fans, and I really want to watch it again. So all these are really, really positive things, and I'm really happy with this movie. So guys, now that I spoiled everything, you can leave me your thoughts down in the comment section below. If you're still watching the video, I would be really keen on hearing your thoughts, but maybe we can try to keep the comment section a little bit spoiler free, because some people might just hit the video and then scroll down to the comments and they don't want to read that, you know, Han Solo gets killed or something. So share your opinion, but maybe try to articulate it in a way without saying any of these big scenes. I don't know. I just want to avoid that people get spoiled, because I really don't want to do that, because I hate it myself. I just wanted to share my thoughts on this movie. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, you can leave me a like. You can share your thoughts, like I said, down in the comment section below. You can subscribe to my channel. You can share it with your friends. Do all the good stuff. Otherwise, guys, take care, and I'll see you next time. I'm out. Bye.